It was hard not to start with this piece right here. That Skull and Crossbones. All aboard, everyone! Artist Journal, November 22nd, 2022, Berlin. My name is Adrian Pocobelli. My neighbors must just wonder what on earth is going on here every morning. It's the music. I just blame the music. It's Tradscape's fault. Look at this awesome piece from Modem MT. Again, who seems to, I just love the evolution of Modem MT's work. And to state the obvious, we have a ship in a storm, what looks like more like a little sailboat in a storm. And maybe that's even on purpose. At first I thought, oh, maybe that was the only reference image. But maybe it's even better. It's just this, almost to quote McKenna, a little skiff on the wide seas, and there is our pirate flag and a little Tezos flag underneath. And that is us. That is us, my friends. Welcome back. And yes, how could I not start with that? Against the Wind and Tide, again by Modem MT, sold out right away, 15 editions. I would have loved to have picked up a piece, but I was probably at the gym. I'm a bit of a gym rat, as you probably heard, which is kind of wild, isn't it? But sort of healthy mind, healthy body. Gym rat is an overstatement. I go maybe 3 or 4 times a week to classes where they tell me what to do. Too much information, right? Where they tell me what to do. Otherwise, I would not do anything. It's a discovery of the last 4 years, I guess. But it's fabulous. And maybe the most important part of going to the gym is brain health. There's your little tidbit of the day. Your brain feels great, and that is probably the most important organ that you are helping by going and keeping yourself in shape. All right, so anyways, went for 880. Enough of my meandering thoughts here. So anyways, Modem MT, and we may remember Modem MT, or you might remember Modem MT, from some very poetic works. In particular, this La Frontera work, there are some works that Modem MT puts out, a lot of them, they just kind of hit home. This one, A Winter in the Morning. So, putting down the gun here, let's just reopen that up. I find his works really moving. This is another one, putting the gun down and then writing his goals. With all the cynicism that's in the contemporary art world, I find this so refreshing, right? It's not like, Christ's piss in a jar, which I think literally is what some works are. This is a family-friendly program, okay? But that's literally what you take your kids to the MoMA and you might find, okay? So anyways, and I'm not against, we talk about Marquis de Sade here and everything, so I'm not against, what is the word, transgression. I am not against transgression. In fact, I'm kind of a fan of it, but sometimes it gets to be a little much, and this can be just like a cool glass of water after walking in a desert for 6 hours. So anyways, what an awesome work here. Proudly could be displayed in any show. Again, if you have your Tezos show at the MoMA, it's like, maybe this should be the first piece. Anyway, we have some comments here. And thank you for all the support again, just on retweets and everything in the comments. Luis Lantigua, talking about the Twitter Spaces. Twitter Spaces in the Americas time zone would be great for some of us. I wonder if there's a time that works best for the journal's audience. Great idea. Yeah, I was toying around with what could, kind of keeping the morning show vibe, but I'm totally flexible on this. But basically 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, where it literally becomes like a coffee. Get your coffee, and we start the discussion like a morning coffee. Otherwise, potentially it could be bumped to 11:30, 10:30, 11:30. But 9:30 kind of is the sweet spot for me, and I kind of think it's kind of a fun, it keeps that morning show vibe. So anyways, thoughts there. So that's what I'm kind of thinking, which is 3:30 my time, which kind of goes nice with my schedule. That's where I start to run out of gas just on doing my regular art and everything. So then it's fabulous. Okay, continuing on. So that's what I'm thinking. Agor NFT Poland. This is interesting as well. I saw your video about Polygon NFTs. In my opinion, it could be a game changer, as Polygon NFTs will be an implement on Instagram as NFTs on Reddit. Artists don't need to set up Twitter profiles from the beginning with 0 followers, which is a major issue. They can say, hello, if you want to buy my digital collectibles, we have new function on Instagram, and so on. And they can use the community on Instagram. You can almost see there being like a, right now, I tried it out actually the other day. I plugged in my MetaMask into Instagram. You can do that now. And but it's not like, you could see them coming up with their own wallet. Let's just put it that way. Maybe it's easier for me to even transfer stuff over. Who knows how it's going to work? Because I've seen digital collectibles, as they're calling it, on Instagram. I still don't know how to buy them. But maybe it's just the first step is plugging in your wallet, and let's see what happens next. So anyways, very interesting thought. It looks like this is much simpler than starting from 0 on Twitter. So talking about just social reach, what do you think about this theory? I think it's an excellent theory. I think there's a lot to be said for it, and Instagram to not take that opportunity would be dropping the ball. So they are obviously taking that opportunity. Nice video. Thank you, Greco. So very interesting comments here. And I want to return to the AI comments from yesterday. I'm going to just kind of wait for the right time. So coming back, or continuing on with the news here, OpenSea API is now multi-chain. Now, I kind of thought they could already do Polygon, right? So our V2 endpoints now support all EVM chains live on OpenSea. This means that you can read and post orders for any chain we support on the site. And so you can read the whole thing, but it looks like Ethereum, Polygon, Clayton, which I've never heard of, Arbitrum, Optimism, Avalanche. It's almost like perhaps, like you could see Instagram as a competitor to OpenSea in theory. So you wonder if this kind of rushed the release. So OpenSea is definitely fighting here. First they were fighting against Blur.io with the removing of royalties, and now they're probably fending off, Reddit and Instagram. Because it's sort of like those people who collect NFTs understand that this is not some fad, right? At least we don't think. Like, it's pretty solid. Nobody seems to be going anywhere. So interesting how they have these layer 2s and Avalanche. It'll be interesting maybe they'll just add, like, are they going to add Tezos at some point? There's talk about that. Then it seemed to have been dropped. Anyways, maybe that's coming next. This is interesting. So we were talking about our, how as an artist, it's fun to release unminted work. And it became kind of a trend in the last maybe month or so that we've been commenting on and saying, it kind of makes it look like there's just an abundance of artwork coming out of that person, in a sense of just how it's, not only is it fun, but it's great PR as an artist. And Jonas Hangatgartner had this interesting comment. I'm seriously thinking about minting all my images before sharing them online, using the blockchain to prove that I'm the creator and the owner. And we discussed this, that in a sense you do have a claim of a certain kind if you are the first person to mint an image. Think about 5 years from now, we will not share only images, but images with proof of ownership. Not quite sure what the last line really means, because I thought we already do that with NFTs. But anyways, I think the point is this person is also kind of saying, before I'm releasing anything, it's all getting minted. So just another interesting thought as we kind of go down that journey, because I was thinking, I'll just start posting, like, I've hundreds of images, that I don't necessarily want to mint, but it'd be fun to share that I think are interesting, right? But then you go, is someone going to mint all this stuff? And then all of a sudden your years of work is kind of like in question, right? So anyway, it's never simple, is it? This is a very interesting work. Let me actually bring up the artist. Refried Spinach. I think it is a Genesis piece on Super Rare, kind of in our, what I want to call, let me get the volume here, kind of like manga anime. Oops, sorry. This might be a little choppy here. It's a very heavy file. Yeah. I actually tried to reload this before starting the show. You kind of get the point. Yeah, so maybe we'll come back to that. Because I don't... Here, let's try restarting one more time. So, there we go. Pretty cool. It's pretty long. Oh, and there's the police. Nice touch. So, pretty epic. And then, like, are the drums going to come in? Like, so anyways, that's a good point to stop right there. So anyways, refried spinach, reserve price of 8 ETH. So I guess they worked pretty hard on this, but not crazy considering the ambition in that work. Apologies for the technical difficulties. That sometimes just comes with the territory here. So in that spirit of kind of like this vaporwave, manga, anime, sci-fi, genuine kind of future-looking work, Dana Ulama is definitely one of our favorites. So new art, and this is like a subway. This looks like Berlin, frankly. The U-Bahn. No volume. Yeah, like that looks exactly like a Berlin U-Bahn entrance. Beautiful, beautiful work. So anyways, I could just... with her work, I can just leave it on loop, especially this part right here with the writing. So anyways, very cool. And also kind of in that spirit, I mean, what do we call this? I guess vaporwave? But vaporwave I kind of think of as retro, right? So it's not vaporwave. This is kind of like, I almost want to, shall we coin a term here? I almost want to call it future wave. Is almost what I want to call this. But if anybody actually knows there probably is a name for this. So if you know it, let me know. Here's another artist, Gal Barkin, Galaxy Eggs Genesis. So I think I brought up one of their works. So again, just kind of in that spirit, vaporwave colors, but with this kind of futuristic sci-fi. I like future wave. We'll see if that one sticks. But if there's actually a real word for it, feel free to drop that in the comments. And by the way, if you put a link in the comments, it disappears and I can't see them and no one sees them. Sometimes I see there's like 5 comments, but I can only see 3. And that goes for everybody. So just so you know. Kind of also similar colors as we transition here to other works. Agora is collaborating with Delirios Digites, which sounds kind of... Spanish, digital art exhibition in the Metaverse, Bienal de Arte Digital 2022. Pretty cool. It's fun to imagine this in the context of a Biennale. So yeah, we've seen Goro's work before and, you know, has that illustrative style. I don't know if he always animates or she. Anyway, this is an edition of 1 and yeah, not for sale yet. Very cool. And so here is the Delirios Digites page, and they have a work by Ed Marola in here too. So this is the kind of the show, and so kind of a cool place to find artists like Amanda Homan here, and Art Daft, like people. So LB is in here with some work, so very cool, right? Give them a follow. And here's the work from Ed Marola, which of course I couldn't resist. Let's see if we can get our music going a little better this time. So this is for that Biennale. Kind of looks like an artist working at the Biennale. Really, 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 really nice work. Again, he kind of makes it look easy, doesn't he? Very, very cool. I think this is like, he has a whole series of these kind of works with people at synths and with speakers. It's one of my favorite series he does. And just look at like the pink, and it's almost vaporwave colors, right? Like that Dana Ulama palette. but he's kind of very on the purple front. But when he puts like this pink here, it's interesting how the similarities there. Here's a really cool piece. Kanek Zapta. Now, we saw Kanek Zapka's work. Did I bring it up? Was working on the rainbow AI stuff, right? With the crazy sun and the rainbow. And I just love these pixelated rainbows. Also, out of nowhere, puts out this stunning work. Like, speaking of like biennial, so anyways, it's just like a whole bunch of random, I guess the tempting word to use would be detritus of the internet, just like the wasted, the fragments and the dust in the corner, the detritus of the internet here, just random stuff. I can't read the title here, it's in Spanish. A random GIF object, HTML. I'm not sure if you load this. I think if you load this, it might load differently. Sometimes I kill my mic when I reload stuff, but So anyways, Kanek Zapta with a stunning kind of digital work here, which would fit right at home in basically any contemporary art gallery as far as I'm concerned. White Cat. Now, this was interesting. Is the name of the work. This is by an artist who is unnamed here. Maybe their Twitter is here. Right, Uzapis Mook, Max Harik, so ambassador of Uzapis. So interesting. And you can see the other work here. I found the rotating cat really stood out. You know what else I like? And maybe you can't see it when I maximize it, but it's this margin on the side. You see here, it's like black. That looks like it's kind of an error. But maybe it makes it from just kind of a cool GIF into more of an art piece when you start making weird decisions like that. So just a thought. So White Cat, and what happened? 1 of 1 went to Burka Bayram for only 5 Tezos. So nice pickup there, Burka. And that is Uzapis Mook. And right, okay, so this is how I came across Uzapis's work. Is Luke 500 sent me this tweet here. He's like, check out this work, and it talks about teletext. And so Uzapis said, I love it how teletext randomly hides or highlights details. Teletext conversion is an unpredictable as Lomo photography, which I don't know what that is. Feel free to let me know. So this looks like teletext here. And I actually looked it up, and here's another example of teletext. A teletext or broadcast teletext is a standard for displaying text and rudimentary graphics on suitably equipped television sets. It sends data in the broadcast signal hidden in the invisible vertical blanking interval area at the top or the bottom of the screen. The teletext decoder in the television buffers this information as a series of pages, each given a number. So the user can display chosen pages using the remote control. So some kind of technology, and you can see up here, it looks like it was a UK company, and that it's kind of like a deprecated technology, I guess you'd say, that nobody uses anymore. And Luke 500 also sent me this, which is also teletext. So this is all new to me, this teletext thing. I vaguely may have heard of it. It didn't sound totally foreign. But there's this tele-NFT, and this is included in the permanent collection of the Museum Francisco Carolinum and the Museum of Teletext Art. So not exactly sure what's going on here and who minted this, actually. Because you see it says multiple creators. But anyway, just so that I love the craftwork here, just so that we are as informed as we possibly can be and are always learning new things, tele-NFT, you can and teletext. So a heads up on that. And somewhat in that spirit, we have a animated abstract work by Guandanarian, who I've never seen before, I don't think. And again, that there's a nice kind of dark pattern underneath that is static with contrasting with this dynamic, colorful abstraction here. Did I bring up? Yeah, here's their work. Okay, this is kind of reminiscent of, what do I call these pixel factories? Kind of reminiscent of our guy who did so many of those. He hasn't minted in so long, I can't even remember his name. That's what happens in this space. You disappear for a few weeks and people can't remember your name, but he was one of Gogolitis. He's like Gogo, kind of reminiscent of Gogolitis's Pixel Factories. I'm not sure who came first because they're kind of similar. Maybe it doesn't matter. Haiti Rocket with a Petsky filter. And you see, just kind of really cool. Looks like an abstract piece. It was great. I was listening to the Demo Tapers Twitter Spaces yesterday, and I finally heard Haiti Rocket's voice, and probably been following his work from February, and you just see this crazy guy, Max Headroom type guy with like the crazy hair. It was hilarious to finally hear him. So anyway, shout out to Haiti. And that was a great Spaces there. And Dan Control was also in the Spaces. And yeah, it was for this Demo Tapers exhibition or kind of remix thing that they're doing on Object. So this is Dan Control. I present you the artwork I realized for the first drop of Demo Tapers on Object.com, visually remixed Planet Funk Band and their iconic track, Chase the Sun. So what was really fascinating, Dan Control talked too. And what was great about hearing him talk was he said how he always starts with the concept. And that doesn't surprise anybody who watches this show, because we can tell. That's why part of the reason we follow him so closely. So here is the tune. So it's pretty cool out here in NFT land. Pretty cool track. Kind of works as a video if you ask me. Just leave that. I mean, nice track. Like whoever that is, Planet Funk Band. Are they? Yeah, only 6,468 followers follow. So isn't this interesting? This is what's so crazy about what we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen, is as the art gets better and better and more professional, the visual and the musical, that's just there. As the great art historian, I think he was friends with Robert Rauschenberg, David Hickey. I saw him speak once. That was that one time I was in LA. I went to the ACLA, I think it was called, Art Contemporary LA. David Hickey had this great statement that he would say. In reference, he was talking about Rauschenberg, and he was saying, undeniable is undenied. And if you make something that is undeniable, and that is increasingly what we are seeing here, is undeniable, kind of like that song, this art, undeniable is undenied. So keep that in your head as you see better and better work show up, more and more evolved work, let's put it that way. The spirit is always there from the beginning. We can see it. It's raw. But we do see evolution in the work too. So just some really beautiful... Look at how great these look together from MechTXT, who again is practically a daily staple here, only because I can't resist. It's just so beautiful. So he came out of nowhere, really, as a pixel artist. This was retweeted and collected by Mikey de la Creme. So shout out to Mikey de la Creme, Fabrique 2K, and just an interesting landscape, since we were seeing a landscape before with mech.txt. So anyways, just nice kind of mountain landscape, 2K world. Buy it for 99 cents. And here is other work. So I think actually Fabric 2K sent me this maybe. So interesting kind of pixelated work. Again, evolution. Like that's what's so exciting about so many of these artists is you see the evolution within like weeks, sometimes days. I mean, it's pretty wild. So who is this? This I came across on Twitter, Buju Bunang. CGA Attack the Electric Memories, an unforgettable random access memory of a celebrated moment that could have been a syntax error. Rest in peace, Hen. Yeah, definitely kind of fits with the RIP Hen vibe and all the diskettes and everything. Kind of vaporwave colors, retro tech, all of it. Buy for 1 Tezos, 10 Tezos cents. Syntax error. That brings me back to the Apple IIe that my mom bought for us for our home when I was like 5 in 1984. Syntax error. When you didn't do something right that the computer didn't understand, it was a syntax error. Really cool piece by Sad Guy. I'm scared. Buy for 90 Tezos cents. Another just nice kind of, I guess you'd call it glitch. Nice glitch portrait. Edition of 9. I'm buying this right now. Well, I'll buy it after. Okay, cancel. We'll see if it's still there after. Okay. Aphex Cube reboot featuring native ed. So Qubit, who we haven't looked at yet, kind of has made some like really cool NFTs that I've liked in the past. So here is a collaboration of what I'd consider two Tezos classic artists. So Qubit, I'll show you another work by Qubit, kind of is known for these kind of cubes, these architectural cubes. And I'll play this in a second. So now combining these kind of architectural cubes, maybe we can load this up here. You see? So pretty cool artist. Unfortunately, I think the FX hash kind of screwed up their profile a little bit because they have a ton of these kind of works here. Anyway, so you see Native Ed's style basically put into Qubit's architectural works. And this almost looks like, is that a turntable? There's a computer, keyboards. Buy for 8 Tezos. Interesting. Yeah, so this one I picked up a while ago. I love this NFT. This is a classic NFT for me. My neighbors must just wonder what on earth is going on here on a daily basis. Okay, so that is Qubit, classic Tezos artist. Continuing on, okay, we got to speed it up here. So Kernel with another nice piece. Again, anybody can be an artist. This guy's a writer, and look at his interesting work here. Okay, so really nice. Okay. GM. And here's a new artist. This is on, for me, Beery Tune, Dream is Dream, and this is on Form Foundation. So just kind of an interesting kind of illustrative artist, again, kind of in the spirit of Paper Crane, Louis Osborne, but maybe with a slightly Asian feel to it with the rabbit. I'm not sure. Bugslayer Betty Art. Thank you, all my loved Betty. So remember we were comparing this to the Rauschenberg, with the car grill, the spaghetti, and the woman, that classic Rauschenberg. So more juxtaposition here. This isn't as far as of a juxtaposition as the other one, but I thought worth noting here. So plants and paper. So plants and a plate and kind of some food. So these domestic interiors, thank you to my collectors. Buy for $3,000. So I guess one person is listed. So this all went to the collectors. I wonder if I got one of these, but maybe it's for earlier collectors. November 21st. Special thank you to my collectors who bought 2 or more of my artworks. There you go. I've only bought 1. And John, again, one of the most old school artists on the whole Tezos platform with a new work, this kind of 3D movie type thing. It's a toaster, Gatorade, and a plant. Pretty cool, actually. Still life objects, buy for $180. And there are already, let's see the offers, because this is kind of where the rubber meets the road here. Already hands at $120, no takers. Pretty impressive. Trezor Rodanx with the Failed Artist series, and here's the Failed Artist birthday party, done now in the oil paint style. And he is getting a McDonald's burger with a creepy clown and a candle on it. So I thought that was great. I also like the choice of doing the couch, but none of the rest of the background. Maybe accidental, maybe not, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. Just a nice, interesting work. Buy for a Tezos 75, edition of 10. It's almost like Antiques Roadshow. I feel like it's like this weird cross of Antiques Roadshow meets something else here. Demon Ego, who we've looked at before, kind of reminiscent of some of Sigmar Polk's drawings, but definitely his own thing. Just a nice work on Twitter here. And here's a new one that is on Foundation. And I believe that Demon Ego is on Super Rare too. So it's interesting, like just because you're on Super Rare doesn't mean you have to mint everything on Super Rare. Because again, some of these platforms kind of have their own dynamics and collectors. So that's also something to realize. And so this is interesting too. I mean, it's tempting to think that this is physical, right? I mean, this almost looks like water, but these days with with digital tools, you really can't tell. So we're going to have to dig deeper on Demon Ego, and there's an auction that started on this work here. And another work that kind of looks physical, but that's probably digital, from Shower Man. So this is really cool too, kind of reminiscent of Michael Margaris or something. Is that his name? Yeah, Michael Margaris, artist. So this is a pretty nice work. Again, you got to love. One way to make instant poetry visually is to put some random marks and then you put something representational over top and just completely ignore the random marks underneath. And that kind of juxtaposition makes it, you see how beautiful this is? Instant poetry. And you could argue that's what's going on here as well. So there's a lot going on here that once you kind of understand that technique, which is a basic technique, but few people exercise it, it really kind of opens up a lot of stuff. Let's look at Michael Margaris really quick. Maybe let's see how reminiscent. I mean, it's not super, kind of a pop art sort of thing. I think he's passed away now. You see, it kind of gets compared with Basquiat and Warhol's work here. Let's see what else. Yeah, so not exactly like Michael Margaris, what we saw there, but here's just another interesting artist to know as we sort of, again, contextualize the contemporary digital art within a broader context. Do we have a mission here? One of our missions, you could argue, of the program. Tony Wallstrom. This is physical, I believe, a monument, the sixth sketch. So I just thought of impressive abstract here. Good-looking abstract from Tony Wallstrom with the O, looks like the Swedish O there. And Tony Wallstrom is also on Super Rare. So this is interesting as well. So another piece, physical, original painting is 120 by 160 by 5, oil and soft pastels on canvas. This is what I thought was particularly interesting as well. The primary collector holds the option to purchase the physical painting. So that's interesting. So by option, does that mean, do I get a discount basically if I own the NFT? Another just kind of interesting mechanic and dynamic here as we kind of, try and establish what makes sense between the physical and the digital in the NFT space. But again, using a digital marketplace to kind of sell, to create an option to buy a physical work. Continuing on, Philip by Rustic Digital Art. Wild experimentation here. Again, this looks like a person here, if you look at the bottom part, turned into a hand, and then the hand itself is transformed into cigarettes, into fruit, with looks like a halo, nice background. Philip, a portrait, perhaps. Pretty original portrait, if you ask me, buy for 8, edition of 10. This is by Dextier, who is doing a lot of experimentation. This one's on Foundation. So Dextier's doing something that I like to do, which is, use different blockchains for different series, right? And what does this blockchain feel like and this sort of thing? So he's using Foundation for this kind of portrait series, and he's kind of well known for his gifts. And so anyways, this is pretty different. Not totally different, though. And so anyways, a girl doing a selfie. Cool. And Board Me Social Club digital painting, Lord Board, always has a dark edge there. Now just in a balaclava. Got those red eyes reminiscent of Myth and just the blood coming off the top. Very interesting, as usual. Edition of 1, there's an offer for 30. And there was another offer for 18. Shout out to NSF World. And so anyways, nice piece. Continuing on, Moses Herzog. So remember, I thought this was Masters of the Universe or like a He-Man character when it was actually a Slipknot, the band, a mask. This almost goes with our first piece with the pirate ship, doesn't it? The Tezos flag and this person getting ready for war, getting ready for battle. And the black Tezos flag in this case. Pretty nice piece. Attaining the supreme, we will never back down. We will stand by each other. Moses Herzog. Buy for $5.50. Cool. Now, quick update on Rare. So first of all, he posted another Boston Dynamics robot dog in a much kind of rougher It's almost like his sketchbook here, which is pretty cool. In the Wake of Progress, nice piece. Maybe it's a finished piece, though, in a slightly different style. And this is also something I want to bring up. So we started the show, of course, yesterday with this piece, and I thought, oh, isn't this interesting? It's in a gallery. So I think what's going on here, I don't think this is a painted work that was turned into an NFT. I think this is a digital painting that was printed. I think that's what's going on. And I think it actually works remarkably well. I'd like to see it in person, but it's not a terrible solution. Again, the temptation to make from a collectability point of view and, as an artist is, could you paint on top of that? In even graffiti on top of that to make it an original? Who knows? Anyways, I just thought I'd show that. Look at this excellent artist here, who I'm trying to place. This is AI and digital painting by Joanne.eth. Look at this. I mean, it was tempting almost to start the program. So this is AI meets digital painting. And we have another work here. So this is on Foundation. And yeah, AI and digital art up at night, pretty high resolution here at 4250 by 3876, sold for 0.3. Pretty cool artist, if you ask me. One of the, like a pretty standout AI digital painter, right? We've been talking about this for about a month now. This combination, what it might bring, this is really going somewhere, is how I feel about that. Charles AI, Remnants of Golf. So remember what we discovered here during the program yesterday? What is Charles AI doing? In my opinion, it's what is the kind of the surrealistic juxtaposition, which is maybe obvious to everybody, but I kind of Englished the other day, yesterday. Interiors and exteriors combined. And again, it's like a Magritte-like juxtaposition, so simple. And so here it looks like a golf, the expanse of a golf course with a roof on it. Pretty cool. So again, Charles AI, nice work. An artist kind of similar spirit to Charles AI, Delta Sauce, has just got on Super Rare. Maybe Super Rare has seen how well Charles AI did. So they're saying, hey, let's bring on more AI artists that are making moves. And Delta Sauce has been selling out. Look at this. Again, the promise of the NFT space. I would like to thank everyone who has been here for my journey. I joined the space a little over a year ago, and I have never had this much support in my life. For that, I want to thank you all. Much love. Well, isn't that exciting? You don't get too many speeches like that in like the contemporary art world. Not to be too hard on the contemporary art world, but you don't get it happens, but I don't see it every day from artists that I know that are giving thank yous for all their support. Delta Sauce also. So again, kind of shifting things a little bit here. Like here, it's just like playing almost with illustration. It's that matted interior, but it's not as moody, and it's almost half animated. So just kind of an interesting experiment. And this is what's cool also about just sharing it. Like maybe you just don't care. Back to should you mint everything before sharing it? Maybe you just share it. And everybody knows it's Delta Sauce. Maybe it's at least on the Twitter, there's a kind of provenance there that you can see, okay, Delta Sauce made it. So if some, pirate minter comes out, tries to mint it, it's like, look, I tweeted this before. And maybe that in itself is a way of establishing, for lack of a better word, a kind of copyright, a kind of authorship. 0009. I'm happy to announce that I'm officially a publisher on Nifty Gateway. So this is another thing. I haven't followed up on trying to apply for this, but it's interesting. It seems like a nice thing to have. It is a huge pleasure of mine to shine some light on other artists using AI collaborative tools. My announcement for the first drop is coming soon. So just kind of interesting, right? And almost just to wrap up here, Robness with more very, very nice work through. He's been working with AI. And this is called Digital Cult Growth Process Print 1 of 18. So it's interesting he's calling this a print as well, isn't it? And here you see the QR codes. And it looks like he's using QR codes and combining them with, a cowboy and then putting the small version over here, or like a guy riding a horse. So anyways, Interesting. Look at this. Julia W. designed, point of view, you're the new girl in high school. AI cinema generated in Midjourney 4, outpainted in DALL-E 2, post-production in Photoshop. So this is like, okay, if you're a movie studio, what can you do with this stuff? Pretty impressive, right? Like, and are actors about to be replaced? You know, and it's almost like artists can be replaced. And it's almost like we were discussing this earlier. You know, whatever it is that makes you unique, it's like time to double down on that, because that's all you have. Your weirdness, what you might think is the weirdness of you, is actually probably your greatest value, because everything that's the same as everybody else will probably get replaced by AI. So double down, a little coaching of the day, double down on yourself, folks. And finally, Amly Art. I'm honored to have taken second place in the AIIA monthly contest. So this is also AI art. I don't know what AIIA, like I know, of course, artificial intelligence, but if anybody knows what that means, because I've seen it a few times, feel free to drop a comment. So just a cool work that kind of stood out. Killer Acid, see you in Miami at Fake Basil. So into physical works we go. So there he is working in his studio, doing a Pepe with a rainbow coming out of his mouth. So pretty interesting. I guess he's going to Art Basel in Miami. The weather out there is phenomenal. I'd love to go out there. No Photoshop. So this is Walk in the studio again. And these are impressive, these studio shots. This looks great, by the way, the shoe. And look at this. So again, one of my favorite spray paint artists, and even this grill underneath, like the pattern, it's he's using it to maximum effect. And also kind of a combination here, Threesomes, who is one of the oldest school artists, right up there with John on Tezos. And these cards are, you know, it's tempting to call them iconic on the Tezos blockchain. Anyways, he has a few more, and it looks like he's combining the World Cup into the mix. So just interesting, painting on trading cards. And again, another topic we talk about is this unification of trading cards, comics, stamps, and vinyl covers with NFTs. It's like NFTs collects that all in one. And finally, we have Die with the Most Likes in the studio. Very cool, hey? It's interesting to see the muted version, the acrylic, like the non-digital version. You know, and I've been watching his painting, and they're getting better and better and better in terms of just like this nice brushwork here and everything. So very fun to watch. It gets you inspired to actually work in there. Nice combination of color here. So great work by Die with the Most Likes. And that, my friends, is another massive show for you. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, take care.